Thank you, Hugh. Friday Night Football returns to the TalkSport network, and this could be a spicy West Midlands derby. Here come the two teams. From the end to our right-hand side, the Gilmerick end of the ground, and plumes of flame jet off up into the air from black plinths that are at either side of both sets of players, and now blue and white fireworks into the air as well. Lots of blue and white smoke all around the ground, and flags are being waved. It's really an attack on the senses here. There's so much going on and so much noise as well. Lots of flashes going off in the stands as well as people take photos of the occasion. Optimism really does reign at St Andrews these days under new owners, underlined by the speedy improvements to this famous old ground. For the first time since March 2020, there'll be fans in the lower Tilton Road end of the stadium as part of a safe standing test event, and while the rest of the lower tier plus the bottom section of the Kop on the far side is still being refurbished, another set-out crowd shows just how much progress is being made, and on the field things are looking up too. It's been Birmingham's best start for 7 years, while West Brom begin the night in the playoff places, and Carlos Corberan's team are full of big ambitions for a Premier League return. Well, some of that acrid smoke is still lingering in the air out on the field of play, illuminated by the floodlights. And to our left-hand side, as we look to the Tilton Road end, half of which, as I say, in the lower tier, has got Birmingham City fans standing up in those safe standing seats. I can see a flag, a blue and white flag, and a banner being unfurled, and it's being pulled across the stand by the Birmingham supporters, and it spells out "We are Birmingham." Courtney Switman-Kirk, former Sheffield United and Liverpool striker, alongside me. There is a lot of expectation how things have changed at Birmingham City.
Yeah, it's a wonderful atmosphere, and as you say, the new owners have done a fantastic job looking around the stadium. To say, I was only here a few weeks ago for Millwall for the game here at St Andrews, and I think to say it's progressed again. There's so much going on at the stadium. There's so much goodwill, I think, within the stands at the moment with the fans, and you know that's then translated at least at home on the pitch here, and it smells like firework night, doesn't it, Joe?
It certainly does. Bonfire night has come about a month early. I can still smell lots of that smoke, but it's a terrific atmosphere here. You get the plumes of flame going up near the players' tunnel away to the right-hand side with a big jumbotron screen, but they don't really need fireworks and flames to create atmosphere at St Andrews. Keep Right On, the Birmingham City anthem, ringing around the stadium a few minutes ago, and West Bromwich Albion have brought 2,000 supporters. That's their allocation tonight. A handful of those are in safe standing seats as well, and the West Brom fans haven't had long to travel, of course. Only about 5 miles to the north of Birmingham is where the Hawthorns is, so it's a short trip down to St Andrews, and we're very much looking forward to it. The two sides, Birmingham City, Ruddy in goal, Drama, Sanderson, Long and Longello, Bielik, Sunjic and Mayoshi in midfield, Bakuna and Dembele either side of Stansfield up front, and for West Brom, Palmer the goalkeeper, Kipre, Bartley and Peters the defenders, Furlong, Yakushlu, Mowat and Phillips in midfield, Diangana and Wallace either side of Swift up front, so the only change to either starting lineup sees Diangana replace Thomas Asante for West Brom. We've got England and Scotland live next week when the international football returns. But first, another bumper sporting weekend on the TalkSport network, including Luton against Spurs, Sunderland, Middlesbrough and Manchester United against Brentford live tomorrow as part of game day, without which Saturdays wouldn't be the same. On Sunday, goals as they go in, NFL commentary on TalkSport 2, the latest from the Rugby World Cup, the Cricket World Cup and the F1. But tonight, we start with a clash between two West Midlands rivals as Birmingham look to win 4 successive derby matches against West Brom for the first time in 92 years and move above the Baggies into 5th in the process. We are off and underway, and it's live and exclusive on your home of the EFL. That is TalkSport 2. Our commentary position at the back of the old main stand here with its low-slung roof. There's a television gantry just above us. We're just a shade, a slither to the right of the halfway line. West Brom got the game underway. They conceded possession straight away. But Birmingham, in the first few seconds, might have an injury issue to deal with. Longello, the left back, formerly of West Ham United, went down. He's now back up on his feet, but that's an early problem for John Eustace, the Birmingham head coach, who's standing on the edge of his technical area with his arms folded, to maybe just keep an eye on. It's Birmingham City in possession very early on, playing from left to right in the blue shirts, blue shorts and white socks, and West Brom in their traditional home kit of the dark blue and white striped shirts, white shorts and dark blue socks. And West Brom are playing from right to left towards the Tilton Road end of the ground, and great to see 900 supporters in the lower tier. The first time we've seen fans in the lower tier at that end since March of 2020. Carlos Corberán on the edge of his technical area as well, as West Brom scoop the ball down the near side there left, but it's left for Dion Sanderson, the Birmingham captain, to shepherd the ball out of play. It's a goal kick, lots of fans still arriving in front of us here, and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk is alongside me in the commentary box.
Just watching Jay Stansfield, I love watching him. He's a young talent, isn't he? And he's going to have his work cut out tonight, especially the way that West Brom play with the three. So he's got to make sure he occupies at least two of those centre halves and bring Bakuna and obviously Dembele in with him. And I think his movement is so important because he can open up the space for Miyoshi, who's a wonderful technician on the ball and can make things happen.
These two sides separated by just a point and 5 places in the championship table. They do say that the standings start to really take shape 10 games in. This is the 11th game of the new championship season, and we are live on TalkSport 2. West Brom have it with Wallace, left-hand side of the penalty area, early cross in towards the near post. It took a deflection off Sanderson, that took all the sting off it. The man who was appointed captain of Birmingham in the summer, and it went through to the yellow-clad goalkeeper Ruddy, and Birmingham very quickly are on the counter as the ball is prodded forward towards the Fulham loanee Jay Stansfield, swept away from the heart of defence by Cedric Kipre, the Ivorian for West Bromwich Albion, and West Brom have it back in the middle of their midfield with Alex Mowat, and Mowat back to the right full-back position almost there, and Darnell Furlong. It's a back three for West Bromwich Albion that they have employed to good effect this season under Carlos Corberán, and they've been imperious defensively in particular. West Brom coming into tonight, they hadn't conceded in 5 hours 37 minutes and counting, and so it'll be a difficult task, Courtney, for Birmingham to break through them tonight.
Yeah, it is, because they're very dynamic in what they do, West Brom. So we know that they play the three, and then they play the wing backs of Phillips and Furlong, get really high in attack, but also then they're really quick to come back in and almost make a 5 out of possession. So obviously that's very, very hard to break down. So that's why it's so important for Jay Stansfield in particular to make sure he stays high to keep that back three occupied, and then they hopefully for Birmingham City, if they move it quickly on the break, then that's when they'll find the space down the wings.
Birmingham City 0, West Bromwich Albion 0. 3 minutes played on TalkSport 2 beneath the lights here. Relatively mild for October, that's for sure. We were saying that earlier on, and still some of that smoke that we could smell earlier after the fireworks were set off, and we saw that blue and white smoke, blue and white, the colours of Birmingham City, and still just about smell that. The television cameras trained on John Ruddy, the goalkeeper, formerly of Wolves, West Bromwich Albion's greatest rivals, but this is certainly a West Midlands derby. The ball is held up by Stansfield for Birmingham, and he looks to throw the ball up the inside right channel towards Janino Bakuna, but Eric Peters is there to send it back to the goalkeeper, and it's cleared long downfield by the West Brom number 1 these days. 24 on the back of his shirt, Alex Palmer gets it away. Now here is Swift on halfway for West Brom with the orange boots on. Threaded square to his left-hand side, and Mowat, who looks to put the ball up towards the edge of the penalty area. Phillips is chasing, only half cleared by Birmingham City. Not the best of clearances by Drama, the Leeds no-knee. And then Swift comes across, and the last touch in that 50-50 challenge with Drama was off the West Brom man. Birmingham have a goal kick, still 0-0.
Yeah, and hand up straight away. He doesn't quite want to look at Sanderson at the moment because he knows he probably should have been trying to do a back heel on his own byline, but in the end recovers really well and makes sure that he doesn't give away a corner.
Well, he hasn't had the best start to the season, certainly with his parent club Leeds United, but maybe this loan move to Birmingham can really revitalise Cody Drama, who was excellent on loan in the Championship at Luton last season. 0-0, West Brom in possession. Swift edge of the D-low, shot, hit the post and in! West Bromwich Albion lead. It's a snapshot almost out of nothing from John Swift, and their top scorer has them in front. 5 minutes into the West Midlands derby, 2,000 away supporters go mad. Ruddy was caught by surprise, and it's Birmingham City 0, West Bromwich Albion 1. It crept in beyond the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it did. It came out of absolutely nowhere, but as I mentioned earlier before the game, John Swift is so good at arriving in the areas, especially on the edge of the box at the right time. and he does it here. Birmingham I think they play the long ball out, it comes straight back. I don't think they're expecting it, they're not really set. West Brom do well, they move the ball quickly, and then, as I say, John Swift, when the ball comes to him on the edge of the box, he's in the right position, and it's a wonderful strike. It's low down to the bottom right hand corner of Ruddy. It's not spectacular, but it's placed extremely well, and I think what outfoxes Ruddy is the fact that it's coming across from the right hand side and he sends it back to the right hand side. So as John Ruddy's coming across his goal, he actually sends it back the opposite way, and it's really difficult for to move his momentum. It just takes a shade off the post as well. It's a really nice cultured finish.
Birmingham 0, West Brom 1. And John Swift, would you believe it, 6 goals for the season from 7 shots on target. It's a remarkable conversion rate, and he could hardly have placed it better. Hit the post on its way in. Ruddy plunged to his left-hand side, but the goalkeeper beaten. And actually, having seen a replay on the big screen monitor in front of us, there was more pace on the shot than it initially appeared there was from Swift.
Yeah, he didn't hit through it, though. He definitely tried to caress it into that bottom right-hand corner. It reminds me of Tony Kroos, the way he hits the ball and arrives on the edge of the box at times. He just tries to place it back where it came from. It was a really nice finish that any striker would be proud of.
Well, early on here, Birmingham City's unbeaten home record in the Championship so far this season is under threat. 1-0 down at home to West Brom. Lots of Birmingham flags dotted all around the ground, blue and white, and some crosses of St George as well. But the vast majority inside St Andrews have been silenced, and it's the West Brom fans away to the right at the Gilmerick end of the ground who've got their hands up into the air. 2,000 of them united in voice and united in celebration. Birmingham have a throw in the left-back position on the far side beneath the floodlights, and the half-full Kop, the lower tier of which is still a building site at the moment. It's still undergoing that extensive redevelopment. So West Brom, as it stands, would move level on points with Sunderland in the Championship. Sunderland in 4th, and Sunderland in action at home to Middlesbrough tomorrow in a North East derby. Again, commentary of that on TalkSport 2, followed by Manchester United against Brentford at 3 o'clock on TalkSport at 12:30. Luton against Tottenham, 2:30 around the grounds with Adrian Durham for all the goals as they go in. Best way to be across all the action is to simply download our TalkSport app. You can swipe between both stations and all of the football that we've got for you at your leisure, and then you can get all the reaction to the weekend's football every weekday morning, starting from Monday at 6 on TalkSport Breakfast with Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend. Had some great guests on Breakfast this week, including Nobby Solano in the build-up to Newcastle's first home game back in the Champions League, that wonderful win over PSG. TalkSport Breakfast back on Monday from 6. Birmingham have a free kick 10 yards into West Brom territory, just to the left of the centre circle, and West Brom have started by far the better of the two teams, leading by a goal to nil. Are Birmingham a little shocked by that opening goal, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk?
Yeah, I think they are, because it was pretty even up until then, and it was just a long ball, I think, from John Ruddy. From the goal kick down the field, it comes back at them really quickly. They're definitely not set, and so I don't think when John Swift hits that, they're expecting it to go in, but comes off the post. It's a good finish, and you can see in the way they're playing now, they do seem a little bit shell-shocked, and they're wondering what the plan is now.
It was an awkward dive to his left from the goalkeeper, John Ruddy, and he couldn't prevent it from nestling in the corner via the post. And West Brom had possession midway inside their own half of the field with the tall, rangy midfielder, Yakushlu, formerly of Celta Vigo. Long ball up the middle towards Wallace, who raises an arm in acknowledgement, the former Millwall man, but that's all the way through to Ruddy again, and Birmingham City can begin to build an attack. John Eustace, the head coach, still standing alone inside his technical area. He has been linked with the job at Rangers, of course, though TalkSport understands that Frank Lampard has been interviewed and that Kevin Muscat is also a contender for that position. The ball is played back by Jama to Sanderson, the captain. Sanderson for Birmingham with a good ball up to the halfway line, and the Japanese player Miyoshi, a summer signing. Wide to the left, and Sariki Dembele, who scored twice in midweek. Dembele meandering towards the edge of the penalty area, back to Miyoshi. Miyoshi congested and converged upon by 3 players in West Brom colours, the dark blue and white striped shirts. As the ball comes out to Bakuna, his drive is charged down by Phillips. That's out of play for a Birmingham corner, their first of the game. Away to our right of the Gilmerick end, 1-0 West Brom.
And that's what West Brom do so well. Yes, they were on the attack, they were going forward, but as you say, when Birmingham get the ball on the counter-attack, they've got to move it more quickly, because West Brom players flooding back to try and get back in defensive position, and then it's so difficult when there's 10 players behind the ball to try and find an opening for Birmingham.
Rapturous applause for Juninho Bacuna, who was so sadly the victim of racist abuse in the game against Huddersfield by a home supporter, we understand, earlier this week. Great to see the reception that he's got tonight. Right-footed out-swinging corner, and the header across goal to the far post, and it's hammered into the side netting. And some of the crowd thought it was in. Birmingham City thought they were potentially level there, as the ball was flicked on at the near post, and Miyoshi got to it at the far, but he rifled it left-footed in front of the West Brom fans into the side netting rather than into the back of the net.
Yeah, for me though, Joe, that's all about Jay Stansfield. He's got to do better. He's about 10 yards out, just to the right-hand side of the goal. It's a good movement. I think it's one off the training ground. He starts at the back post and arcs his run really wide, then back round to sort of halfway between the penalty spot and the front post, and he just doesn't get the right connection on it. He's completely free. There's no one round him, but he just doesn't connect properly with the ball. 3
goals for Jay Stansfield so far this season since joining on loan from Premier League Fulham, but Birmingham City no closer ultimately to an equaliser. 1-0 down inside the first 12 minutes on a derby night, as West Brom go for their first victory at St Andrews since December of 2019. We mentioned Birmingham have the better of the recent head-to-heads, having won the last 3 meetings. The last time Birmingham won 4 successive league meetings with West Brom was back in the 1920s, early 1930s. West Brom have a throw near side with Peters, the centre-half, to come across and take it. A regular in that left centre-back position. Back to Bartley, a lot of experience in this West Brom side. Now goalkeeper Palmer, all in green. Clears long over the halfway line. The header from Kevin Long. He's played every minute in the Championship for Birmingham City so far this season. Birmingham have it back with the ball on the halfway line, and Bielik. Bielik is fouled. His shirt was tugged by Swift. And a free kick to Birmingham just shy of the halfway line. And finally they're starting to put some passes together. John Eustace still patrolling the edge of the technical area. Not entirely happy with what he's seeing. But Birmingham, it feels like Courtney have finally settled into the game.
Yeah, they're just about settling in, aren't they? They're putting more passes together and finding blue shirts. It was so hectic after the goal initially, and they couldn't really find a rhythm, which they seem to have done now, at least in their defensive third, but they've got to do better at either finding the midfield or finding the forwards and playing the ball. I think the wide areas are the ones to exploit for me, so Bacuna and Dembele have got to do a little bit better.
Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, former Sheffield United and Liverpool women's player. Courtney and I have been touring the grounds in recent weeks. Arsenal last week and here at Birmingham today. And you're a big fan of the playlist here, Courtney, as well.
Yeah, I am. The DJ is... I need to get his playlist off him.
Well, we'll try and get him to send you a Spotify link at the end of the game or something. Here come West Brom with your Kushner in the centre circle. Wants it wide to the far side, and Furlong, who controls 10 yards into Birmingham territory, trying to jink away from the quick-footed Dembele, who is just about the smallest player on the field, but such an impressive, inventive player at EFL level. Of course, we saw him excel at Peterborough United before this move eventually to St Andrews. He has had some hamstring injuries to contend with, as Long plays the ball back to goalkeeper Ruddy, and Ruddy clears downfield for Birmingham. West Brom lead by a goal to nil. We're into the 15th minute. Swift, the goal scorer, juggles the ball on neatly towards Phillips. It's only half cleared away by Sunjic with the long hair and the red boots, and one back by Swift, who jinks away from 2 in Birmingham City blue. Now the loose pass is picked up and driven infield by Diangana towards the near side, the left, but it's cleared away by Drama, only as far as Moet. 25 yards from goal dead centre, onto Swift. We know he can hit them from range. Swift was caught there by Sunjic. No, referee says play on, no foul. And West Brom still have possession. Peters sliding to try and keep it in on the near side touchline. He can't do so, and West Brom and Swift in particular fuming with the referee.
Yeah, I think the way I would put it is he makes the most of that. I do think there's a bit of contact, but I think the issue is he jumps out of it quite dramatically, and I think that's what catches the referee's eye. It's definitely not a Patrick Bamford style one where he doesn't get caught at all, but yeah, it's a bit dramatic, I would say.
Here is Miyoshi for Birmingham City. Long ball over the halfway line. Opportunity could be on here on the far side for Longolo if he can get a cross in. Taking on Kipre. Kipre, the big defender, stands tall, stands firm. Pokes it out of play, and it's a throw to Birmingham City deep inside the West Brom half on that far side there left. Right by the corner flag. They quickly win another off Furlong this time.
Yeah, Kipre did well there initially because it was poor the way he missed the ball, and I thought it was going to get caught out, but he does well to recover and make sure that he doesn't give anything away dangerous for his side.
Ball is on the halfway line now with Sanderson of Birmingham. Sanderson rattles the ball long down the near side right touch line, but there's far too much on that. Nowhere near Jay Stansfield, and it's out of play for a goal kick. Both sides have got extensive injury issues to contend with. Both have a number of first-team regulars unavailable, but despite that, it's been an impressive start to the season for both. Birmingham's best for 7 years, and as things stand, West Brom leading 1-0, and they'll go level on points with Sunderland in the table, and it's Sunderland against Middlesbrough tomorrow lunchtime. Again, commentary of that on TalkSport 2. Headed by Long. Midway inside his own half, the Birmingham defender. Up to the halfway line, Yokushlu's there to retrieve the second ball in front of the much smaller Miyoshi. Miyoshi, though, snapping at the heels of Yokushlu, is there to win it back, and he looks a very dynamic player. First time that I've seen him in the flesh, and already you can see that Koji Miyashi is just the sort of player that can excite a crowd, Courtney.
Yeah, definitely. He's technically very good on the ball as well, but out of possession works very, very hard, and I love to watch his movement. He was playing in behind Stansfield, but then he's coming out wide and he's directing play as well. You watch him, he's telling everyone else where to go, so he's a leader in that sense as well.
Manchester United 1, Arsenal 1 is the latest score in the WSL. Manchester United winners on the opening day. Arsenal beaten home by Liverpool. Drama driving towards the near side, the right for Birmingham. Slide tackle comes in from the vastly experienced Matt Phillips. He knows a thing or two about derby matches of all sorts. And it's a throw to Birmingham, about 10 yards from the corner flag. Drama takes it straight to the feet of Bakuna. Back to Drama, first time right-footed cross and steered into touch by Barkley. Another throw coming up. 1-0 to West Bromwich Albion it remains.
It's not a bad idea, the short throw and then the ball in early, but Jay Stansfield needs to get in front of the centre halves earlier there. I think it was Bartley. He just needs to jet in front of him and try and get something on the ball, but he was very static in the middle of the box.
A lovely spin and turn infield by Dembele to a central position for Birmingham City. He's robbed of possession eventually by Yokushlu, but then Yokushlu stumbles under the challenge of Dembele, and Birmingham fans out of their seats in front of us in frustration because they can't believe that James Lillington, the referee, has given West Brom a free kick there.
Yeah, I'm not overly sure about that either. I think he just uses his body really well, steps across Yokushlu. I think he does get a bit on the ball. I think he actually goes from behind him, but I don't think there's too much in that.
It does feel harsh because he gets the ball with his left foot. I guess the difficulty is he's put his foot through the legs of Yokushlu, and it's come from behind as well. Maybe that's what the referee feels. But Birmingham City is starting to grow into the game. John Swift's early goal separates the two teams at St Andrews, and here he is, Swift breaking between the lines for West Brom again. That's an early ball down the middle towards Wallace, all too easily telegraphed and intercepted by Sanderson, the Birmingham captain. Square ball to Sunjic, midway inside his own half of the field. Birmingham retain possession. France 17, Italy 0 at the Rugby World Cup. The hosts going for 4 wins from 4 in Pool A, and they'll be underway, in fact they are underway, in the Super League semi-final playoff match. Catalan Dragons 0, St Helens 0 is the latest score early on there. Birmingham on the attack again. Juninho Bakuna looking to race down the right, but the ball was played too far ahead of him, and Palmer, the goalkeeper, able to come across and see it out. And I think very important in light of the sickening racist abuse that Juninho Bakuna received earlier this week. The EFL Together Against Racism campaign this month, an appeal to fans up and down the country to report incidents through Kick It Out, EFL's online reporting form, or by alerting a steward. Football, of course, is a game for everybody, and there is certainly, as John Eustace said this week, no room for any sort of racism whatsoever.
No, definitely not. And just echo what you say, Joe. If people hear that in football grounds, I urge them to report it. It's not acceptable, and these players don't deserve it, and neither does anyone in society. Absolutely.
And it's been great to see how Birmingham City have united around Juninho Bakuna. Longelo is limping the left back at the moment again. Remember, he had that problem inside the very first few seconds of the match, and he is moving a little gingerly in the left back spot, so we'll keep an eye on that. And meanwhile, West Brom have a throw in their right wing back position on the far side of the field in front of their empty section of the Kop, the lower tier, that at the moment is a sea of wooden construction. Of course, there'll be plenty of seats in there eventually. Birmingham are hoping to get the ground done as soon as possible. Here is Wallace juggling the ball up through the middle and trying to get away from Kevin Long, who's hooked it over his shoulder and away from danger. And now the ball is back on the centre circle with West Brom again. Phillips touches it onto Wallace, right to the far side, and the on-rushing Furlong, who took it in his stride, floats in the cross over the head of Phillips, cleared away on the volley by Drama. Birmingham City 0, West Bromwich Albion 1. In the derby on Friday night, but it's Birmingham on the break with Dembele charging forward up the middle, surrounded by West Brom shirts. Kipre made a half tackle. Dembele still got it though. Ball sticks to his feet like glue at times. Sunjic reverse ball to Miyoshi, angle tight. Can he pull it back across? Again, Kipre was there. Goal kick. No penalty, says the referee. It was a challenge from Kipre. West Brom are absolutely furious. There looked to be nothing in that. At first glance at least, Kipre came across with a challenge on the on-rushing Miyoshi, and the penalty kick was given, and players surrounding the referee, James Linnington, they can hardly believe the decision, but Birmingham City have got themselves a spot kick here with 22 minutes played and a chance to get an equaliser.
I mean, on first glance, Joe, I really didn't think that was a penalty. We're getting the benefit now with the replay.
Does he lunge? It was so innocuous initially at first. I thought he'd given a goal kick.
Yeah, and so did I. And I think Miyoshi actually slips. He's trying to cut it back with his left foot, and you see his standing foot goes below him. He slips. I think the problem is there. Kipre, I think, is potentially quite forceful, but then that's on the realms of, if you think that's two-footed, you've got to send him off.
No VAR in the Championship, of course, so no chance for a second look. But it will be Juninho Bacuna to take the penalty for Birmingham City midway through the first half, and a chance to bring them back on level terms. Birmingham fans in front of us are on their feet watching this. It's Bacuna from 12 yards against the goalkeeper Palmer. Here he goes, right-footed, scores! Rolls it low into the bottom corner. Goalkeeper went the wrong way, and Juninho Bacuna, who hasn't had the easiest of weeks, is able to celebrate a goal on Derby Day. And now we feel the truly unifying force that is St Andrews, that is Birmingham City. It's Birmingham City 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. A great deal of controversy in the build-up, but Juninho Bacuna is on the score sheet with the equaliser.
I say, Joe, the build-up might be controversial, but nothing about this penalty, the way he takes it, is controversial. It's emphatic. The way Bacuna opens up, puts that in the bottom right-hand corner, and his celebration with the fans, I think, says a lot. It's been a difficult week for him, but the relief in that celebration, I think, says a lot. But I do think that West Brom probably a bit hard done to with that penalty.
1-1 the score, and now we've really got a derby game on our hands here tonight at St Andrews. Bacuna, the coolest man in the whole stadium with the penalty, to just roll it beyond Palmer, and it's a lovely turn away from Peters, and then he plays it through the legs of Mowat. Does Bacuna, the goal scorer, look like he was fouled by Yakushlu? Lots of excitement in the fans in front of us as West Brom go on the attack, the counter-attack. There's a trip by Bielik on Wallace, and a yellow card straight out of the pocket of the referee, and a free kick to West Brom midway inside Birmingham territory. 1-1.
Love that turn down here right in front of us from Bacuna. It's a lovely little turn and then goes on the run. I personally thought it was a foul, but it plays on, and then there definitely is a foul there on John Swift.
And now you can hear the noise, the Birmingham supporters. The anthem, Keep Right On, ringing all around this ground. And how the tables have suddenly turned. It'll be talked about extensively, that penalty decision, no doubt. Free kick to West Brom, meanwhile, is a good 35 yards out. Central position. Swift hammers it, and it's a couple of yards over the top. And going for goal from range again, but I think this time Ruddy had it covered anyway.
Yeah, he did. It's not a bad effort. It's a good distance out, actually, to be able to get it up and down over the wall, but it just won't dip quite quick enough for Swift.
Well, Eyes and ears everywhere for us on TalkSport 2. The Birmingham assistant Keith Downing has gone down to the technical area already. I wonder whether there is some concern for Birmingham City about a pattern of play possibly, or anyway, something for John Eustace to think about. But his side have certainly responded well overall to going that early goal down. It's 1-1 at St Andrews, but West Brom have put it back, and West Brom's run without conceding, of course, is over. Here is Phillips, left wing position, attacking the edge of the penalty area, whipping in a great cross to the far post, and Furlong controls, brings it down. It just evaded Diangana, hung up by Furlong towards Mowat with a downward header that bounces up high into the air, and it's gathered by Ruddy on his goal line.
He's got to do better, Mowat. I'm not sure whether he's not expecting the ball to come to him or he misses the flight ever so slightly, but initially it's a good ball in. It comes all the way out through the box and then the ball back in. He's got a lot more time than he thinks there. He heads it down, but almost too far down, and almost pops over the crossbar, but he'll be disappointed with that, Mowat.
1-1 the score, as Ruddy clears high downfield into the right wing position. Bakuna's header infield is intercepted by Mowat, and the ball is chipped over the halfway line by Eric Peters for West Brom. Sanderson there on the cover to beat Wallace to the ball and roll it back to Ruddy again. I'm just running through that penalty incident in my mind once more, Courtney. Kipre on Miyoshi, and the contact seemed to be so minimal, and I think you'll know this as a former player. The West Brom protests maybe said it all, because 7-8 surrounding the referee, absolutely fuming, tells you all about the injustice that they felt was in that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought initially the referee had given a goal kick, which I thought was the wrong decision. I thought it would be a corner, and then the fact it's a penalty, as you say, the injustice of the players. For me, that there's not enough contact there for a penalty. I thought the bar in terms of that had been raised, and that was something that was talked about to players at the start of the season. And as I say, I think West Brom are rightly feel hard done by, because I don't think there's enough there for a penalty.
I mean, does the VAR recommend a check of the monitor?
I don't know, Joe, and I don't
decision?
care, because we are not in a VAR zone, and I'm happy about that.
Well, who knows what may yet happen. Maybe one of these clubs will be in a VAR zone in the Premier League next season. 1-1 the score, and a free kick to West Brom now. About 15 yards into Birmingham territory. Wallace is standing over it, right of centre, floats it high towards Barkley at the far post. He was climbing, got a touch on it, inadvertently headed the ball away from goal under pressure from Drama, and that's a throw that Drama will take in the Birmingham City right back spot. Well, we've already had plenty of drama and controversy tonight, and no doubt plenty more to come over the weekend and over the season on the TalkSport network. More live football than anywhere else. 450 games in total across the course of the campaign, and the best weekday lineup of shows, and across the weekend as well, that is around, including White and Jordan from 10 till 1 every weekday morning. Next week, Sam Matterface and Alex Crook are looking after the show, and Martin Keown is among their guests on Monday, the former Arsenal defender. Here come West Brom with Diangana, right wing position by the corner flag. Longolo gets across and hacks the ball clear into touch for a throw. It bounces down into that empty lower tier of seats in the half to the right of the Tilton Road end. The half to the left, of course, has got fans in finally. First time in 2.5 years or so. West Brom throw in their right back position. And suddenly the complexion of the game feels like it's really changed, and the Birmingham fans are playing a part in that as well. Furlong's going to take this throw as we welcome listeners from TalkSport with the score: Birmingham 1, West Brom 1, and the volley from Diangana for West Brom from the edge of the penalty area. Completely missed his kick. Loose ball drops to Phillips. Stansfield, the Birmingham front man, is there tracking back to try and clear. He's lost out though to Diangana, formerly of West Ham. Diangana trying to trick his way beyond two Birmingham defenders. Stansfield, the forward, is then back to clear once more, and Janino Bakuna, whose penalty has Birmingham level, has retained possession and pops it back to Drama in the right back position. Bakuna's penalty, highly controversial after what was adjudged to have been a foul by Cedric Kipre, as Dembele looked to break through down the middle for Birmingham, but it's conceded a free kick. Prior to that, John Swift had given West Brom an early lead, finishing very impressively with a right-footed strike in off the post. Maybe the Birmingham goalkeeper John Ruddy was slow to react, but Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside me with half an hour gone on the EFL commentary tonight on the TalkSport network. Birmingham 1, West Brom 1. Everybody's talking about just how controversial that penalty decision was.
Yeah, it is. I don't think anyone in the stadium expected a penalty to come from that. For me, seeing the replay back, which I know that the referee doesn't have the advantage of, it looks like to me Miyoshi slips. Yes, there's a bit of contact from Kipre, but I think that's after Miyoshi slips, so I think West Brom will feel hard done to.
Furlong for West Brom at the other end has found Diangana edge of the penalty area, twisting and turning. Good tackle by Sunjic. We've had half an hour of play, and of course commentary on TalkSport 2 of the whole 90 minutes. Best way to be across everything is to download the TalkSport app. You can swipe between both stations at your leisure. It's Birmingham City 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. Now, as things stand, West Brom will be frustrated in their attempts to move level on points with Sunderland in fourth. Birmingham would need a win to get into the top six. If they get the win, they'll go above West Brom. That's how close these two sides are in the standings at the moment. And Birmingham's certainly looking up after a difficult few years under the ownership, of course, of Trillion Trophy Asia. Didn't ever finish higher than 17th under their previous owners, Birmingham City, but there's a very different feel about the club this season. Here come West Brom with Furlong on the far side there right, the floodlights shimmering above him at the top of the Kop, and Diangana takes over. A couple of step overs, ball infield towards Swift. It was the obvious pass, and one back by Longolo for Birmingham City, and Sunjic trying to clear. Sunjic will get a second attempt to do so, instead turns and plays it back to John Ruddy. And now the game has got a much more even feel about it, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Yeah, it has. I think there was a period where West Brom just seemed to win every sort of 50-50 ball. They're always there, but I think Birmingham have come back into the game a little bit. For me, Birmingham just need to be a bit more composed on the ball like that and play through midfield a lot more.
Here's Miyoshi driving up the middle. It might open up for him to shoot. He's still going here. Miyoshi touches it left to Dembele. Dembele with a curler, blocked his right-footed effort by Furlong. Birmingham City throw deep inside the West Brom half on the far side there left. Birmingham look such an exciting team to watch with the pace that they've got in attack when they go forward.
Yeah, and I like that a lot from Bielik. He looks up in the movement as well from Miyoshi, the way that he drops in on the half turn, and then he wants to drive forward, he wants to make things happen. But that's really the first time that Birmingham, for me, have played through midfield, and they need to do that a lot more, because you see they get a lot of joy from it when they do it quickly enough.
Unbeaten at home in the Championship so far this season. Birmingham City, one of 4 second-tier sides to retain unbeaten home records so far this season. West Brom had won 2 from 2 coming into this. They've only lost once on the road this year, West Brom, and that came on the opening weekend at Blackburn. Carlos Corberán, the head coach, the Spaniard, with his arms folded on the near side touchline, a grey jumper on, and just to his right, John Eustace has gone for the tracksuit. The ball is with the Birmingham goalkeeper Ruddy, away to our left, and 1-1 it remains. Ruddy will have time to clip the ball through the dark night sky towards halfway. Poor clearance from Ruddy. It's won back instantly by Furlong for West Brom, looking to burst down the middle, but got too much on his initial touch, and it's gone through to Ruddy, away to our left again. And now Sanderson, the captain, inside the penalty area, to the right back position and drama. Sanderson knocks the ball forward long straight away. Eric Peters returns it with interest, and it's been laid off by Moet to find Phillips. Phillips throws the ball towards the edge of the penalty area now, and Swift right of centre, back in field to Phillips, the number 10. Phillips blocked off by Miyoshi, and here is Yukushlu in the centre circle. West Brom starting to see a little more of the ball in the last couple of minutes, and Birmingham a bit hasty to clear and occasionally struggling to retain possession. But just as I say that, Peters has knocked it out of play, and it's a Birmingham throw.
Commentators curse, but no, you're right, Joe, whether it's coming from Ruddy or the centre halves as Long and Sanderson, I think Birmingham, the movement needs to be better. I think the full-backs, one needs to go a bit deeper maybe, and one go higher to provide a bit of width in terms of Sunjic and Bielik as well. They're on the same line, so again they need to be a bit better with their movement to allow the centre-backs and John Ruddy to play out through midfield, rather than what's happening is they're going long and they're not winning the first and the second balls, Birmingham, when they do that.
That's the voice of Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, formerly of Liverpool and Sheffield United, alongside me tonight. And we're really enjoying Derby night on TalkSport 2, which is your home of the EFL. We've got 120 EFL commentaries to bring you across the course of this campaign, and 450 matches overall on the TalkSport network, and that is more live football than any other national radio station. Our next EFL commentary tomorrow lunchtime, Sunderland against Middlesbrough. Another huge game that in the Championship. Sunderland who started well, and Borough who have recovered and are on a winning run suddenly under Michael Carrick, and that is what the Championship really is all about.
Yeah, Borough had a terrible start really, didn't they, in terms of the heights that in comparison they hit last season, but now starting to accrue those points again.
They were playoff semi-finalists, weren't they, last season under Michael Carrick with Middlesbrough, but as you say, Courtney, slowly but surely working their way up the table. Half-time in the WSL, it's Manchester United 1, Arsenal 1, and the WSL will be a focus of our coverage across the campaign on the network this season as well. Longer low left-back position for Birmingham, has won it back off Furlong, plays it forward to Dembele, trying to wriggle away from Yukushlu. Dembele is lightning quick, and just like Miyoshi plays to his right, they're two of the three, including Bakuna, in behind Jay Stansfield. Stansfield has had a relatively quiet game so far, but it's a very different looking Birmingham that we're seeing this season, and certainly not a pedestrian in any way, and maybe at times in their recent struggles over recent years you could accuse them of being a bit pedestrian at times, Courtney.
Yeah, you can, but I think it's a completely different feel, not just around the team but the club as a whole, and it's showing on the pitch.
Great spin and turn, Miyoshi, and now here's Bakuna into the penalty area, low shot deflected, just wide, inches away, Juninho Bakuna from his second, and Birmingham's second on Derby Day here at St Andrews. Palmer, the goalkeeper, was rooted to the spot. Corner kick, 1-1.
Again, a lot better from Birmingham. Instead of the long ball high, it's Miyoshi again. That man gets out on the left-hand side this time, drives into the right. It's a wonderful ball across to Bakuna as well, and that deflection, it could have gone absolutely anywhere from a West Brom perspective there.
Almost a double touch off the heels of Bartley.
Yeah, sort of a nutmeg double touch, and he's very, very happy to see that go past the post.
He got very lucky. 37 minutes gone, 1-1. West Brom have brought everybody back. Birmingham have sent almost everyone forward. The corner from Bakuna is taken short, all the way back to Longolo to clip it in left-footed, headed away by Kipre through a crowd. The loose ball has dropped to Cody Drama. Drama will hoist his ball to Sanderson! 2-1! Captain's goal! Dion Sanderson rising highest like the leader he is, and he celebrates in front of the West Brom fans, and Birmingham City have turned it right around. St Andrews roars to the sound of Birmingham City 2, West Bromwich Albion 1.
And this is all about the ball in, don't get me wrong. It's a wonderful header from Sanderson, but this ball in, it's got a bit of everything. It's got the pace on it, it's got the whip, it's the fact that it's come from deep, and then Sanderson, in all fairness, times his run so well, and then can you get a good contact on it? Jay Stansfield earlier from the corner couldn't, but this ball, it gets whipped in and then headed back where it's come from, back across the goal, over the goalkeeper Palmer. It's a very, very good header. And just as Birmingham, they were starting to get that momentum, that impetus, and they've got the goal it deserves.
And Dion Sanderson is rapidly becoming a real Birmingham City favourite, and Birmingham are everywhere now. Bakuna's just made a challenge on Peters, and he's looking towards the crowd, and he's asking for more noise, if there could be any more noise. Juninho Bakuna, and I mentioned it actually during commentary of the penalty. It's lovely to see Bakuna being spurred on by the unifying force that is, of course, the absolute vast majority of everybody at Birmingham City Football Club after the horrible incident that happened here on Tuesday night. There's no chance that Bakuna was going to let that affect him. He certainly hasn't let it affect him, and he's loving his football, and so too is everybody of a home persuasion, at least, here in this part of the second city.
Yeah, they are, and this momentum in the game now is definitely swung, and Jay Stansfield there, just to our right here from the press box where we're sitting, he makes a block, and he celebrates it almost with the Birmingham City fans like it's a goal, but that's the way that the momentum swung in the game now, and Birmingham, they're really putting it together, whereas earlier in the game it was all West Brom, but that's just how quickly football can change.
West Brom took the lead early on. Birmingham City have turned it around to lead 2-1. And that prospect of 4 straight league wins over West Brom for the first time in more than 9 decades is back on all of a sudden. Not that I think John Eustace, or actually many Birmingham fans, will be that bothered about that. Headed by Bakuna, flicking the ball towards the halfway line, nudged away by Bartley for West Brom. West Brom, I'm sure, and I think we feel understandably, will look to the penalty decision if it does prove to be a turning point. Of course, a long way still to go. We're only in the 41st minute. Phillips in the left wing position. Back to Moet. Moet digs out a high cross. There's way too much on that. Beyond Diangana. Furlong will do well to keep it in, and he has. Down on the far side of the field. Teases it back to Yakushlu. Yakushlu wriggles away from Stansfield and rolls the ball to the feet of Kipre. Kipre's just inside the Birmingham half. Kipre weighted pass was poor, intercepted by Sunjic. The ball hit the referee. Birmingham City are able to play on though because they had it in their possession, and now Dembele charging over the halfway line. He marauded away from Kipre initially. That Kipre and Dembele battle has been an intriguing one in the game so far. This time West Brom get the better of Birmingham City, but they're 2-1 down, and you can really feel that the atmosphere has completely changed here. Yeah, definitely, and just the pace of the game, it does feel like a real derby now in terms of the tackles flying in, the pace is frantic, it's end to end at times, and as you say as well, Joe, the crowd are definitely playing their part for both sets of fans. Well, it may not be the first choice rivalry of either club, of course. Birmingham City and Aston Villa, West Bromwich Albion and Wolverhampton Wanderers, we know that, but it's certainly a local derby, that's for sure. And here is Peters for West Brom, left of the trio of centre halves. Phillips is blocked off illegally by Sanderson, and the free kick given by the referee James Linnington, who's had a busy night so far. Yeah, he has. I think sure. All referees this week may be wanted to stay under the radar, but he's had no such luck tonight. We've seen certainly 3 good finishes for all 3 goals, but the cross from Drama for Sanderson's stomping header was a thing of beauty. The timing of it's really good as well, because the fact it's coming from deep and gives Sanderson that time just to reset himself, keep himself onside, and then does the rest with a wonderful header back across Palmer. If you like this, you'll love Game Day on the TalkSport network. It's back tomorrow with 3 live and exclusive commentaries from the Premier League and the Championship. Luton against Tottenham, Sunderland against Middlesbrough, Manchester United against Brentford. Here's Phillips for West Brom, who are 2-1 down at Birmingham City late in normal time in the first half. Deep ball to the far post towards Furlong, who's trying to reach it in front of Long. Long gets it away for Birmingham, high towards the halfway line, and Dembele goes up with Kipre and has somehow beaten him to it, despite looking like he's almost half his size. Kipre's a giant. Dembele nudged it away from him, then Kipre does get back to poke the ball away from Dembele, and now it's West Brom's turn to attack. A floated crossfield ball by Wallace, taken in his stride by Phillips. Phillips drives in field and curls one right-footed. You can see exactly what he was trying to do, but you can also tell from the crowd's reaction that he's blazed it over the bar. Yeah, his initial first touch was wonderful, the way he cushioned it down, and no Matt Phillips, and hit a ball very, very well. And as you say, you see what he's trying to do. He's trying to find that top right-hand corner, but just as he hits it, he's off balance, and it goes into that area where the Tilton end isn't quite finished yet on that right-hand side behind the goal. Yes, half of it is full of blue and white seats, and most of those seats are occupied with Birmingham fans, and then the other half is still under construction. Birmingham 2, West Brom 1, last 90 seconds of the first half. Good to see Matt Phillips back in action regularly again. He had quad surgery in the second half of last campaign, so had to miss several months of football, but he's been a regular for West Brom this season so far. As it stands though, Birmingham will go above West Brom and into 5th position in the table, the heady heights of 5th, as Sanderson collects the ball on the halfway line. Now Drama plays it forward to Stansfield. First time ball back to Janino Bakuna, who wriggles away from Moet, sweeps it towards the far side, the left, and Dembele headed away by Furlong. An important header that by Furlong, otherwise Dembele would have had a clear run down the left hand side. He may yet get the opportunity once more. Miyoshi's early ball to the edge of the box, headed clear only as far as Bakuna on the half volley. He sliced that, could still run into the path of Drama though. Drama down by the dead ball line, back to Bakuna once again. Bakuna surrounded by 2 in West Brom dark blue and white, Phillips and Swift. Bakuna digs that across nonetheless and wins a corner. It rattled off the shins of Phillips and behind. And that ball met Drama, didn't it? More by luck than judgment. You see what Bakuna's trying to do, but the ball won't quite sit down for him. He still took it on though, but Drama does well to anticipate it and still make something out of it in that corner with Bakuna. France 24, Italy 0 at the Rugby World Cup is the latest score, and Catalan Dragons 2, St Helens 0 in the Super League playoff semi-final. 4 added minutes in the first half here at St Andrews, with Birmingham leading by 2-1. Can they go the aerial route to goal again here? Miyoshi to the near post, headed away by Peters. It'll come back towards the near side of the little Japanese player. Miyoshi plays it back to Drama, his first time cross from a very similar position to which he set up Sanderson for the second goal. This time it's charged down by Swift. A lot of movement in the stands as spectators head to the concourse areas. Every seat that is available tonight has been taken up by a supporter. Poor touch by Drama. West Brom throw left back position.
And I think Birmingham have certainly finished this half the better of the teams. So much confidence flowing through the side now and starting to connect passes, and was saying let's play through midfield for Birmingham. That's where they can hurt West Brom, and as they've done that throughout the game and increased the tempo of the passing, they've definitely caused a lot more problems. But West Brom are by no means out of this game yet.
Here is Palmer, the West Brom goalkeeper, all in green, out to the right back position now, and Furlong threads the ball cleverly through the middle towards Wallace, but while the idea was right, the pace of the pass wasn't good. It was intercepted by Sanderson. There was too much on it from Furlong. Bakuna wriggling away again, this time from Peters. He was blocked off by Peters off the ball there. I don't know if the referee did see that. Birmingham City, having lost possession, the referee James Linnington did spot it, and he's now pulled the play back for a free kick to Birmingham. It was a body check by Peters, and he certainly wasn't going for the ball, and Bakuna's going to need the 2 physios on now.
No, it's not. It's actually Mowat that pushes Bakuna into Peters. That gets seen. That's a foul, really. There's no need for that. The ball's already gone. Mowat shoves Bakuna in the back. It's quite dangerous, that is.
Look, I won't go on about VAR again, Courtney. I know we've talked about it pre-match, we've talked about it during the game, but these are important decisions, and the penalty kick, of course, is the one that really changed the feel of this first half. Birmingham leading by 2-1, and Bakuna still being treated out on the field of play here after that collision with Peters. But even despite the controversy, you have to credit Birmingham for the way that they've come back into the game.
Yeah, obviously there's controversy in the penalty, but Bakuna has got to step up and score it for a start. We're seeing the penalty back again. The incident is not a penalty, I don't think, for me. But then they've pushed on Birmingham. They've increased their performance level. Yes, that includes the goal, so West Brom will feel hard done by. But that cross by Drama as well is absolutely wonderful, and Sanderson does very well, heads it back across goal where it's come from. So yeah, I think, look, West Brom will definitely feel hard done to, but there's still 45 minutes to play.
And Bakuna has come off to the near side of the field, having received some treatment, so Birmingham temporarily down to 10 men. We are 3 minutes now into the 4 added at the end of the first half, and Birmingham lead by 2-0 here on TalkSport 2. We've got NFL commentary for you on Sunday, by the way, live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, as the Jacksonville Jaguars play the Buffalo Bills, and updates on TalkSport of the Cricket World Cup, the Rugby World Cup, the F1 this weekend. The ball is with Mowat on the halfway line for West Brom. Bakuna still waiting to come back on, still ready to get the signal. We've got 30 seconds of stoppage time to go. Bakuna back on the field. West Brom on the attack. A header by Furlong. Had to really stretch there to keep it in play. I think some in the crop on the far side had thought the ball had gone out, but the assistant was well placed to see that it hadn't. In the end, it does for a West Brom throw. And Furlong is signalling to Bartley and Kipre to come forward here, which they have done. And it will be a long throw, as you say, that Furlong will take. He's a specialist with these. He's wiped the ball in his dark blue and white shirt. This could well be the last action of the first half. Birmingham have almost everybody back to defend this long throw. Hoisted in by Furlong to the near post. Yakushli got a touch on it. Diangana hammered it left-footed. It was going wide but was blocked. Now Swift edge of the penalty area. Couldn't get the shot away on his left side. Lays it square to Mowat. Dinks it crossfield to Kipre. He heads it back across, and the offside flag was up, and Birmingham City get themselves a free kick. It's a shame for West Brom, that, because they actually worked it quite well. Yeah, it's the right idea, and Kipre as well, I think he needs to do better in terms of keeping himself on, because he's wide out on that left. He can just come out a little bit more. He can see across the line. There's no need for him really to be offside in that moment. And so that's the cue for more and more home supporters to head to the concourse areas for half-time. walking past, and as we look around the ground, all of those Birmingham City flags that are hanging down in the middle tiers of the stadium. The ball is cleared long by Ruddy, the goalkeeper. We are now into 5 minutes of added time at the end of this first period, and of course it is always just a minimum of 4 added minutes that was added, and we have the injury to Bakuna as well, so we might still have another 30-45 seconds to go maybe. A throw to Birmingham deep inside the West Brom half. Bakuna spinning away initially from Peters, but not beyond the defender eventually. Sunic's shot from a long way out was blocked, and Birmingham pick up the second ball, and they head into half-time as the whistle goes with a 2-1 lead. West Brom thought they'd made the perfect start. Well, they did make the perfect start when John Swift curled in off the post with John Ruddy, the goalkeeper, and maybe a little slow to react just 5 minutes in as Swift continues his excellent goal-scoring start to the season. But amid a feverish St Andrews atmosphere, Birmingham City have fought back impressively, though the leveller was high in terms of its controversy. A foul inside the penalty area from Cedric Kipre on Koji Miyoshi. The referee, James Linnington, well, we thought he'd given a goal kick initially. It looked so innocuous. In the end, though, he had judged it to have been a foul and pointed to the spot. Janino Bakuna stepped up to convert. And then Dion Sanderson, the captain, heading in after a wonderful cross from Cody Drama to make the half-time score on TalkSport 2, with Birmingham heading up above West Brom in the table as it stands. Birmingham 2, West Brom 1. We are back underway for the second half, with Birmingham City leading West Bromwich Albion by 2-1, and West Brom have made a half-time change, as you say, Hugh. Eric Peters has gone off and Connor Townsend has come on. That should be a straight swap, with Birmingham playing from right to left in the second half towards the Tilton Road end. Birmingham in the blue, royal blue shirts and shorts with white socks, and West Brom playing from left to right towards the Gilmerick end away to our right-hand side, which is split between home and away supporters. 2,000 have made the short trip from West Bromwich for the game tonight, and West Brom in their home colours of dark blue and white striped shirts, white shorts and dark blue socks. There's a free kick won by Furlong in the opening seconds of the second half on the near side, the right. I'll give you the two teams again in just a moment, but West Brom have it with the substitute, the newly arrived Townsend, who is playing as we expected, slotting straight into the left of a back three. And West Brom go all the way back to the halfway line beneath the floodlights here. It's Birmingham with Ruddy in goal. Drama, Sanderson, Long and Longello the defenders. Bielik, Miyoshi and Sunic in midfield. Bakuna and Dembele either side of Stansfield up front. And for West Brom, Palmer the goalkeeper, Kipre, Bartley and Townsend now the central defensive trio, with Furlong and Phillips the wing-backs, Yakushlu and Moet in midfield, and Diangana and Swift in support of Wallace up front. We've seen lots of controversy so far tonight. We've seen Birmingham City wrestle the lead amid a raucous atmosphere at times at St Andrews. What are you expecting from the second half, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk?
Well, I think obviously West Brom will be told by Carlos Corberan how to get themselves back into this game. I'm not sure whether the Peters substitution, he didn't look injured, did he? But whether that is injury or whether it's tactical. But I think, look, West Brom will be happy with the start they had to the first half, and they've got to bring that again to this second half, whereas Birmingham, they're now in the driving seat. They've got the impetus, they've got the crowd behind them, so now for them it's about managing this lead.
Birmingham have been so outstanding at home in particular so far this season. Birmingham City unbeaten in the Championship here at St Andrews, remember, and looking to produce a come-from-behind victory. Birmingham, this would be significant for the first time in well over 2 years. April 2021, the last time they came back in the Championship to win, having conceded first. Here is Dembele for them, attacking the Tilton Road end, trying to drive beyond Kipre. Oh, Kipre lunged there! That could be a penalty. This time the referee says corner. Now, to me, that looked more like a penalty than the one that was given in the first half, because the ball went with Dembele's momentum. Kipre lunged in. Did he get a touch on it, I wonder?
100% my initial thought was that's a penalty. Looking back at the replay now, I do think he gets it. He does. He gets a real good touch on the ball, and the reason he's remonstrating with the referee is because it comes back off Dembele, so it should be a goal kick.
But it isn't. A corner to Birmingham in the end. So we've gone round the houses with that one, haven't we? Bakuna will take the corner. Miyoshi standing short, and it's played short to Miyoshi. Now Bakuna with a chance of a better angle to whip one in right-footed, headed away by Kipre. Drops towards the edge of the box and smuggled further clear by Moet towards the halfway line. Birmingham 2, West Brom 1. 3.5 minutes into the second half. Miyoshi brings it down into the penalty area, left-footed shot, and it's going to go well wide. It actually went through a crowd of bodies. And one of those where, had there been a touch from a Birmingham player, who knows where it could have gone, but in the end it has indeed trickled away for a goal kick. 2 West Bromwich Albion at that end of the stadium, but in the lower tier we finally see some supporters. 900 in the lower tier behind the goal tonight as part of a safe standing test event. The rest of the Tilton Road lower, which curves all the way round to the Kop, is still as yet unfinished, but they do hope that there will be 3,000 supporters behind that goal by the end of October, and that the Kop can be done by November. So lots of work going into this redevelopment of St Andrews by Birmingham City's new owners. And you can see that the ambition off the field is being matched by an increasing quality on the pitch. It doesn't feel like any coincidence that Birmingham have made their best start for 7 years to a season, does it?
No, it doesn't, and I think obviously it works in synergy, doesn't it? The feeling around the club and obviously off the pitch and things going on, it always translates to on the pitch performance.
Birmingham heading above West Brom in the Championship. Birmingham would be just a point behind Sunderland, who play tomorrow. Sunderland in 4th against improving Middlesbrough, live on TalkSport 2 from 12:30. At the same time on TalkSport, Luton against Tottenham. Then TalkSport takes you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in. Meanwhile on 2, we've got commentary of Manchester United against Brentford. If you want to be across all the action as it happens, just download our app, the TalkSport app. You can swipe between both stations as you please. West Brom on the attack, deep inside opposition territory. It's been held up by Matt Phillips on that far side, playing towards the end that houses the away fans. Now Moet lodges it to the left, and Townsend's first time cross is deflected behind off Bakuna, and West Bromwich Albion have themselves a corner as they look to come from behind.
Yeah, and they're just pushing, aren't they, West Brom so far? They're probing. I think initially Carlos Corberán will say there's no need to rush, don't flood bodies forwards and leave yourself exposed, because we've seen that Birmingham City can work well on the counter, so it's about doing it in the right way, and there's no urgency just as yet.
And Kipre and Barkley are both forward for this. Furlong's in the penalty area as well. The corner is swung in high, deep towards the far post, and Yakushlu headed away though by Sanderson, and then a strange touch of the ball by Miyoshi. Edge of the box, facing his own goal. I think tried to hook it over his shoulder, only succeeded in knocking it straight out of play. Went completely the wrong way for another West Bromwich Albion corner. As we watch on from the back of the old main stand here, couple of pillars in the way. Lots of Birmingham fans still making their way back to their seats. We're sat just to the right of the halfway line. West Brom corner, Moet and Swift standing over it, nudged short by Moet to Swift, who balloons the ball deep to the far post, and it's controlled well by Townsend, plucking it out of the dark night sky. The floodlights very much on. Townsend plays it back to Furlong, who slices the ball left to right, and it's won the header by Swift, but cleared by Long from the edge of the Birmingham penalty area, picking up the second ball. Regain of possession by Diangana, who then surged in between 2 blue shirts and was fouled, and West Brom have a free kick dead centre midway into Birmingham territory as they seek an equaliser 2-1 down.
Yeah, and this will sort of suit Birmingham a little bit as well, in terms of it's getting a bit choppy in there. There's no momentum for West Brom so far. They're trying to get forward, but Birmingham just seems to be breaking everything down.
On the far side, which Townsend will take, wearing number 3 in the long sleeve shirt. He's got Swift coming short for him. Moet is the option square, taps it back to Townsend, and now Swift with the orange boots, the man whose goal put West Brom in front. That feels a long time ago now, though. Birmingham turned it around before half-time. Now we're into the second half on your home of the EFL, as the ball is worked back to halfway by West Brom. Then Barkley with a long diagonal pass high towards Furlong, heads it back across goal, headed away by Sanderson, whose header separates these two teams now. Dembele has dribbled the ball out of play. West Brom throw midway into Birmingham territory near side, and West Brom having a good spell early on in the second half. They've started it really like they began the first, as Birmingham City boss John Eustace comes to the edge of his technical area, looking a little concerned, and maybe there'll be concern among the Birmingham fans as well, because West Brom are certainly having the better of it in the second half here. Furlong down by the corner flag, Dembele across on the cover. The assistant eventually flags for a goal kick. It looked like, to me, the last touch was off Dembele and it should be a corner. That was right in front of the assistant. We don't want to keep bringing up referees, Courtney, but we can see that from the commentary box.
Yeah, it does look that way. If you're going to give that to Birmingham, then it's going to be a foul for the push in the back. But for me, that certainly comes off a Birmingham City player last. But what do we know?
Well, it's a tough job being a referee, an assistant, a VAR in the Premier League, of course. Here's Miyoshi over halfway, driving beyond Yokushlu and knocking it square to Bakuna. Just had to achieve it, was slightly behind him. Bakuna dribbles in field, he's blocked off by Townsend. Bakuna almost forgot to take the ball with him there. And West Brom have it back. West Brom are 2-1 down, and a rare foray forward in this second half for Birmingham City. And John Eustace, as I say, watching from the edge of the technical area, hands on hips. He's been linked with the Rangers job, and TalkSport understands tonight that Rangers have removed Frank Lampard from their list of managerial targets after a mixed reaction from fans to his potential appointment. We understand he was interviewed for the job on Wednesday and was open to return to the dugout, but Rangers are now looking at alternative targets, which potentially include the former Rangers defender Kevin Muscat, who used to play for Wolves, West Brom's greatest rivals. And Birmingham 2, West Brom 1, heading towards 10 minutes gone in the second half. Kevin Long goes in for a 50-50 with Wallace, and West Brom get the free kick, and every decision's being contested now.
It is. I've just got to giggle at that, though, because Long goes straight through the back of Jed Wallace there, and he's pointing at the ball, and it's it just makes me laugh, because I used to do it as well as a player, but it's blatantly obvious. That's the one that the referee has got right tonight.
Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, formerly of Sheffield United and Liverpool, with us in the commentary box on a permanent basis these days, as Wallace looks to nudge the ball down the right hand side towards Diangana, but Longelo is across and covering, and back it goes to John Ruddy in the WSL. Tonight, big game between Manchester United and Arsenal, and Manchester United lead by 2-1. They've come from behind to lead. Melvin Malar has scored for Manchester United, and Arsenal are going to start the campaign potentially with 2 defeats from 2, and in the Women's Super League you can't really afford to drop any points if you want to be in the title race. France 38, Italy 0 at the Rugby World Cup meanwhile, and Catalan Dragons 2, St Helens 6 in the Super League playoff semi-final. We'll have coverage of the Super League, the Rugby World Cup, the Cricket World Cup, the F1 all weekend. We've got NFL commentary as well for you on TalkSport 2 from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday. And then, as we react to the weekend's football, look ahead to the international break. England and Scotland in action. We'll have commentary of their matches. You can join TalkSport Breakfast each weekday morning from 6 for the very latest, starting with Annie McCoist and Andy Townsend on Monday. Had some great guests on the show last week, including former Premier League referee Mark Holsey, amid all of the VAR controversy. I'm going to try and ban myself from saying that now, Courtney, between now and the end of the game. Let's see how long it lasts. West Brom have the ball with Palmer, the goalkeeper. Palmer's clearance straight out of play. And actually, you have to say, despite West Brom starting the second half well in terms of possession, 12 minutes into it, they're still 2-1 down, though they haven't really created anything. And now Miyoshi at the other end for Birmingham. Square to Dembele, who nutmegs Moat, who was standing right in front of him, but in the end was dispossessed by Yokushlu. West Brom looking to counter over halfway with Diangana. Tackle from Sanderson, Sunjic rather. They haven't created actually a great deal in this second half so far.
No, and as I say, I think as much as John Eustace, I'm watching him, is a lot happier now, because he wants to get that defensive four a lot higher up the pitch, which they are doing now. Aside from that, I think he'll be quite happy, because yes, West Brom are having the possession, but they're not really using it to any great effect, and sort of anything in the middle as well. Birmingham are making a fight scene, they're making it difficult, so West Brom can't really gain too much momentum.
West Brom clinging on to their spot in the playoffs at the moment on goals scored ahead of Leeds United, but of course a flurry of clubs just behind them, and all sorts could change tomorrow. We'll have commentary of Sunderland against Middlesbrough on TalkSport 2, and around the grounds with Adrian Durham on TalkSport from 2:30 for all the goals as they go in. Good football from West Brom on the halfway line. Combination play between Yokushlu and Swift, and it's not wide to the near side, and Diangana and taking on Longelo, plays it back square towards Yokushlu. Swift darts onto it, edge of the D. Moet steers it further wide to the left, and Townsend's cross is blocked by Drama, and Drama gets another good touch on the ball. Out of play for a West Brom throw. Level with the edge of the 18-yard box, taken quickly by Townsend, and he gets it back from Phillips. West Brom are 2-1 down under the floodlights at St Andrews. Phillips crosses left-footed. It's Furlong! Oh, he's stuck it wide, far post. Running onto it on the volley. Simply had to score from 6 yards out. Darnell Furlong, and he steered it about an inch wide of the far post. Should be 2-2.
Yeah, I don't think he can quite believe it, and neither can I. It's the first time really that West Brom have made that possession look dangerous. It's a great ball in from the left, and I know Furlong stretching, doesn't quite get the contact he wants now, but I think he goes to ground too early. It's a wonderful ball. It's Matty Phillips, and yeah, I think instead of just trying to get a good contact in and find the goal, he's stretching. He's gone to ground far too quickly, and he'll be very disappointed with that.
He scored a super goal recently, Darnell Furlong, in that big win at Preston North End that West Bromwich Albion enjoyed. And ironically, he's got connections to Birmingham City as well, because his dad Paul played for Blues in the 90s.
That's a warning sign, that, for Birmingham as well. There's only so long that you can, keep taking that pressure. That was a very dangerous chance, so that's their warning sign now to defend better from crosses in wide areas.
Just as we've been saying, Courtney, that West Brom hadn't created a lot in the second half. Well, that was a huge chance, and it should be level. In a very even game overall. An hour gone, Birmingham 2, West Brom 1, and there's still lots of action to be had in this West Midlands derby, you feel. West Brom have possession on the far side, the left with Phillips. They're the better team at the moment. Mowat to the edge of the penalty area, and Townsend just steers it back out wide to Phillips. He darts away from Bacuna. Low cross is blocked, and it's a corner in front of the West Brom fans. 2,000 behind the goal. All of them are on their feet, packed in together at the Gilmerick end. And the referee, yes, has signalled for a corner. I think there might be a problem for Bacuna, who went down right on the dead ball line and has limped to his feet and should be able to continue, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was the player that blocked the cross from Phillips and maybe just caught the end of his foot. It hurts your ankle, it sort of twists your ligaments when you do that.
Alex Mowat's going to take this corner, left-footed and out-swinging. Kipre going forward, it's bounced to the far post, and the near side of Wallace. Jed Wallace wearing number 7. Corner of the penalty area. Birmingham have everybody in those royal blue shirts back behind the ball. Lots of time and space for Townsend to measure a deep high pass to the far post, and it reached Mowat, having looped over Jarma, who knows it was his mistake, but Mowat made a mistake, rather fortunately for Jarma, and he couldn't control, and it's gone out of play for a goal kick. And John Ruddy, the Birmingham goalkeeper, all in bright yellow, is just going to slow the game down, but there's still the best part of half an hour to go, and Birmingham only in front by that single goal. 2-1 they lead.
What concerns me about that from Townsend, he's got all the time in the world there. He's directing play, he's showing where he wants the players to be to get on the end of the ball. A Birmingham player has got to come out a lot quicker there and put him under pressure. It's a very similar area actually to where Cody Drama picked up in the first half and played that ball for Sanderson, so they need to get out in the second phase a lot quicker.
A lot of work for Birmingham to do in this game, and John Eustace told us beforehand that derby games are always something special, a great spectacle, he said, especially for the fans. We've certainly seen the atmosphere cranked up again tonight at St Andrews in front of a reduced capacity sellout crowd. Lots of those flags and banners dotted around the stadium, billowing in the wind. Now, are West Brom going to make a double change maybe very shortly? There's certainly activity on the bench behind Carlos Corberan. Meanwhile, Birmingham coming forward. Drama's first time right-footed cross. Good header away that by Bartley. Corner to Birmingham at the Tilton Road end away to our left-hand side. Drama's a real threat coming forward, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's looking really good tonight. He's looked a bit more shaky in this second half in terms of defensively. Matt Phillips has put him under a lot more pressure, but going forward he's causing real problems.
And just over 21,000 here at St Andrews tonight. They had home sellouts against Leeds and Plymouth this season, but that'll be the biggest crowd of the campaign. Things are looking up for Birmingham City, and they've got a corner here on the far side there right. Juninho Bacuna will take it. Plenty of aerial ammunition forward for Birmingham, including Bielik, who scored at that end of the ground in this fixture last season. It's in towards the near post, and Sunjic, and cleared away. Comes back out to Bacuna again. Bacuna twisting and turning and crossing high, left-footed towards the far post over the head of Stansfield. That actually took a glance off the back of Furlong, and it'll be another corner to Birmingham City, as Arsenal make it 2-2 away at Manchester United in the WSL with a dramatic late equaliser. I think they're still playing there. 2-2 in the WSL in stoppage time between those rivals, and here Birmingham lead West Brom by 2-1. Birmingham and John Eustace would love the cushion of a third goal and a 2-goal advantage. It's Chalobah stripped and ready to come on for West Bromwich Albion, and Brandon Thomas-Asante is ready to go as well. There'll be a double change for Carlos Corberan's team very shortly, but they've got to defend this corner first. Whipped in right-footed by Bakuna, punched away one-handed by Palmer, all in green. Good punch that from the goalkeeper through a crowd of bodies. And now West Brom can make their changes. And Chalobah and Thomas-Asante. And off goes Yakushlu first of all. Expected boos from the Birmingham supporters. And Jed Wallace also leaving the field. And Brandon Thomas-Asante coming on. What's the thinking with those changes? They're probably straight swaps, aren't they, Courtney?
Yeah, straight swaps, and Jed Wallace I think it's been a difficult night for him in terms of he's probably not had the service that he was expecting. I think Thomas-Asante will put himself around a bit more. He's probably a little bit better at sort of holding the ball up and bringing people into play. So, and he can also obviously run in behind. So I think he offers maybe a little bit more in that 9 area that West Brom need at the moment.
Well, they are in possession here, Birmingham City, as the ball goes back to goalkeeper Ruddy. And Thomas-Asante was a player that Birmingham City were understood to be interested in at one stage before he made the move to the north of the second city, to West Bromwich Albion. And 20 minutes into the second half, that's flown by. Birmingham 2, West Brom 1. It remains Birmingham, who have a trip to Middlesbrough and to come next in the Championship. West Brom will host Plymouth. Our next live EFL commentary is tomorrow on TalkSport 2 from 12:30. Sunderland against Middlesbrough. 21,495 here tonight at St Andrews, including just shy of 2,000 away supporters. The ball is with Dembele, who's always full of trickery and pace. Tries an inventive 1-2 with Miyoshi, but it's gone out of play for a throw to West Brom, right in front of Carlos Corberan. He's got his dark coat on, but he's very energetic on the touchline, hopping up and down, wants to see more from his team. He's quite an intense character on the playing field, and he's certainly revitalised West Brom, Courtney, from where he took over, but there's always an expectation of a playoff challenge at a bare minimum in the Championship for West Brom.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, in terms of the stature and the history of the club, there's always that expectation there, but I think Carlos Corberan has took that in his stride and have a real push for that this season.
Townsend's left-footed cross, that's way too close to Ruddy. Easy take for the Birmingham goalkeeper. Ruddy, actually, apart from conceding that early goal, he's had nothing to do.
No, he hasn't. As we say, West Brom, yes, they've had a lot of the possession, but not put too much pressure on that Birmingham back line or Ruddy, and I think the only thing he's really done is seen that ball fly past him in the first half.
He's turned around, and Dion Sanderson to put Birmingham 2-1 up after Juninho Bakuna had equalised following a very controversially awarded penalty. But great to see the celebrations with the Birmingham fans for Juninho Bakuna after the very difficult night that he endured on Tuesday. And EFL Together Against Racism campaign has been launched this month. An appeal to fans up and down the country to report incidents through Kick It Out. There's an online reporting form on the EFL website. And of course, you can alert a steward as well if you hear anything. Football is a game for everybody, and that is a message that will be echoed up and down the land. There is no room for racism or any form of discrimination in football or in society. Here is Bartley in the middle of the West Brom half. Long diagonal pass to the near side. Furlong can't keep it in play, and will he look back on his missed opportunity with a tinge of regret, because actually it's not been a game of many clear-cut opportunities.
No, it's not, and when you look back at the chance, I think he needs to do a lot better with it. I think he's rushed it a little bit. The ball coming to him is in a lot of space as well, and he just needs to cushion it back towards goal.
Midway through the second half, and a change coming up now for Birmingham. Oliver Burke is going to replace Koji Miyoshi. Big cheer for Miyoshi as Burke, the Werder Bremen loanee, comes on, and he's got extensive experience abroad, Burke, but in English football as well. We saw him a regular part of the Millwall side on loan at the Den. And last season started his career at Nottingham Forest. I remember seeing him play. It's going to be about 7-8 years ago now, when he was a teenager, I think, coming through the ranks and really making a name for himself.
Looks like he's going out on the right where Bakuna was, and probably Bakuna will probably now sit more centrally and behind Stansfield, I imagine. Here
come West Brom seeking equaliser. The ball has been knocked wide to the near side. Their right, Diangana's early ball in is steered away by the ever-reliable Kevin Long, who's been ever-present in the league this season for Birmingham. Birmingham 2, West Brom 1. Opportunity for Chalobah, down by the dead ball line, tees it back towards Diangana. He should have drilled it in low, surely there. Chalobah, having done all the hard work, he gave it away. And now Birmingham on the counter with Bakuna. Early ball through the middle towards the substitute Burke. Cut out by Townsend. He wanted his goalkeeper to come, but Palmer wasn't able to get there. Birmingham, meanwhile, have won it back straight away. Stansfield's pass through the middle towards the run of Dembele is not a good one, and it's played back to Palmer. The goalkeeper is able to clear again. Well, you do feel that there's at least one or two big chances left in this game, and there may still be a twist in terms of goals as well, live on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, and I think you're right about Chalobah, Joe, especially because there's so many bodies in the box there. If you drill it back across, even if it takes a deflection off a Birmingham defender, you don't care as long as it goes in the back of the net.
We just love the EFL, and we just love our live football on the TalkSport network. More than 450 games this season, more than anybody else. 3 tomorrow as part of game day. Mowatt's 35 yards out for West Brom. Plays it to the left, and Phillips in front of the travelling fans. They're 2-1 down. Back to Mowat. Scoops in a long cross to the far post, and Furlong with a header into the chest of Ruddy. A tame effort at that far post again for Darnell Furlong. This is a much more difficult chance than the one earlier in the second half, but Ruddy just had to stand where he was and clutch it into his chest.
Yeah, it is. I think he's better served actually trying to go back across to a teammate, although I do think Dembele is doing enough in terms of the defending to put him off. He probably did potentially mean it to go back across, but Dembele's putting in under enough pressure to make sure he doesn't get a good contact on the header.
I mentioned our live football. That includes international football next week with England and Scotland in action, both live on the TalkSport network. And we've also got the best lineup of weekday daytime shows, evening shows and weekend shows across the sporting universe as well, including White and Jordan, who are live from 10 till 1 every weekday. Next week, as Sam Matterface and Alex Crook are sitting in, and the Arsenal invincible Martin Keown will be alongside them on Monday. Lukas Jukovic, ever dependable, coming on for Birmingham City here. The big number 10 with a standing ovation now being given to Siriki Dembele as he leaves the field, and he's really started to light at St Andrews with his performances this week, having joined from Bournemouth in the summer. He scored a couple of times on Tuesday night, hasn't scored tonight, but he's certainly been involved. Jukovic is a very different proposition, so it'll be interesting to see exactly what Birmingham do.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like he's going up top now. Stansfield will come back on the left. He has played wide, and then it's whether they sort of keep it as a 3, or Birmingham this time this season have played a 4-4-2, so be interesting to see how they tweak that, but it's definitely Stansfield out on the left in some capacity.
And Swift has gone down now for West Brom, and it might be worse than cramp this. I thought it was cramp initially, but he's sitting down right by the touchline, and West Brom are going to treat Swift here, but they also might have to make a change, and Carlos Corbrand's taking the opportunity to call over some of his players with 18 minutes to go. And there was a West Brom player who's out of our sight line at the moment, but I saw him on the big screen warming up. It's Tom Fellows, who hasn't played in the Championship for West Brom, the former academy player, since January of 2022. I think it's Fellows who is stripped and ready to come on, and yet he's getting his final instructions from Corbrand, so it's a very rare appearance at league level for him.
Yeah, and it's a big game to do it in as well, a local derby, and to try and get his team back in it.
Still 2-1 down here, West Bromwich Albion, and Birmingham looking for 4 successive league wins against West Brom for the first time since the early 1930s. So off goes Swift, and on comes Fellows. Birmingham fans greeting every visiting substitution with the same rather predictable reaction, but it's a chance for the academy boy to go on and make himself a hero with West Brom 2-1 down, 17 minutes to go, not long left here, and that's concerning injury for West Brom's top scorer Swift, and he's rolled one sock all the way down to his ankles, so it must be the right leg that's causing him an issue, and he is limping towards the tunnel, which is away in the corner. Meanwhile, his team are on the attack. Furlong's first time cross, cut up by Sanderson. Nobody lurking with that instinctive goal-scoring touch in the second half for West Brom tonight, especially with Swift off the field, and Birmingham are able to clear, and Birmingham, aside from the big chance for Furlong, have been comfortable defensively. Header away by Longolo, who joins from West Ham permanently in January after an initial loan spell at the club. The ball's retrieved by Tom Fellows, his first touches since coming on for West Brom. They go back to halfway. West Brom having more of the possession, but no closer to an equaliser, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
No, and I think Birmingham are quite happy at the moment in their defensive shape. They've not been carved open really, and there's been opportunities for Birmingham as well on the counter-attack, so I think they'll carry on playing like this. Obviously, if they can get that cushion, fantastic, but they're not going to flood too many bodies forward.
Fellows has got it for West Brom, tried to check his run under pressure from Bakuna, and he was robbed of possession by Sunjic, who is suddenly back in the Birmingham side, having been out on loan last season. And Longolo has dribbled the ball straight out of play, so that's a throw to West Brom, deep into opposition territory. There's away supporters behind the goal are desperate for an equaliser here or more. Throw by Furlong down towards the corner flag. Fellows scampers after it, wriggles away from Longolo, and does well to win a corner for West Bromwich Albion on the near side as we look at it.
Yeah, and I think set pieces now for West Brom are going to be huge, especially as the time's ticking down. They really need to make these count.
15 minutes to go here for West Bromwich Albion to try and find themselves an equaliser. West Brom have been prolific from set plays so far this season. Mowatt's corner in swinging, headed away by Long. 6 goals from set plays this season in the Championship so far, West Bromwich Albion. That's not including penalties either. That corner came to nothing though. Furlong will take a throw. They'll take it short instead of long. Back to Mowat, who gives it back to Furlong. First time cross is blocked by Bakuna. Bakuna with boundless energy and enthusiasm, and racing forward now on the counter-attack towards halfway. Early ball crossfield towards Burke, is intercepted by Palmer, long way out of his goal, cleared only as far as Jukovic, who's headed it down. Burke is definitely in an offside position and having let it run initially, thought, well, the flag stayed down, so I might as well try and get on the end of this, and then of course he went up straight away.
Yeah, but it's the right idea from Bakuna. He does really well, doesn't he, initially down this left-hand side, and it's the right idea to try and find his teammate in acres of space, but just can't quite get the execution on the pass.
He looked hopefully there, did Burke. Will he keep his flag down? But the assistant didn't. Townsend has it on the far side for West Brom. A deflected cross tucked behind by Drama. That'll be another West Bromwich Albion corner. They're really racking up the corner count here, but they can't get themselves level. They're still 2-1 down. Manchester United 2, Arsenal 2, a full-time score in the WSL. Late equaliser for Arsenal to get their first points of the season. France 52, Italy 7 in the Rugby World Cup. France heading for 4 straight wins in Pool A. Catalan Dragons 4, St Helens 6 in the Super League. Corner West Brom here. Mowat out-swinging, left-footed, headed away through a crowd. A thumping header away by Kevin Long again. He's been outstanding tonight.
Yeah, he's been a real rock at the back, hasn't he? He's been solid, and I think Birmingham now, they just need to manage these moments. You know that West Brom are going to come at you, try and get that equaliser, but you don't want to sit off too much and try and soak too much pressure up, because you're going to invite it. So, you know, there's got to be that sort of link between, yes, you want to go forward and not get caught out, but you also don't want to invite too much pressure. 13
minutes to go here on TalkSport 2. We're back tomorrow from 12:30 for Sunderland against Middlesbrough in the Championship. Over on TalkSport, they'll have Luton against Tottenham. TalkSport 2 at 3. Our commentary is Manchester United against Brentford. Another huge game for the under-pressure Erik ten Hag. Up against the Brentford side, who haven't made a great start to the season themselves necessarily. Here's Townsend to Phillips, down the West Brom left. Back to Townsend, who made the overlapping run, hugging that far side touchline, crossing towards Thomas Asante, headed away by Dion Sanderson. And that ball had gone out of play before Drama could prevent another corner. West Brom are really trying to pile on the pressure here, but can they make it count? Their 6th corner of the game is going to be rapidly followed by a 7th, which Mowat will now come across to take. Townsend having been denied with his attempt.
It's everyone back for Birmingham, isn't it? They don't want to concede, and they've defended corners so well so far.
Looking for 2 home wins in a week, and as it stands, moving above West Brom in the Championship table. They've brought everybody back to defend here, Birmingham. The referee James Linnington, who was at the centre of controversy midway through the first half when they awarded the penalty that led to the Birmingham equaliser. He's having a word with Bartley and his marker Jukovic. Corner to West Brom, which Mowat again will take. It'll be another left-footed outswinger in front of the travelling fans. Here it comes, hoisted high, spun off the head of Long, deep to the far post, and Kipre, who's plucked it out of the air. Kipre with his back to goal had to thread it back to Townsend, who flicks in the left-footed delivery. That's a poor one, looping high and gathered easily by Ruddy, who immediately throws the ball out overarm. A great throw. Burke was on the burst, but his first touch was poor, straight out of play. 2-1 to Birmingham City. Less than 11 minutes of normal time to go.
Birmingham will be happy just to get up the pitch really for a few seconds. It's been an onslaught from West Brom, but again, probably not causing too many problems. Yes, there's been a few corners, but no big chance for West Brom or save for Ruddy to make.
As the ball is given away by Thomas Asante, and it's won back by the industrious Bielik in the middle of midfield, the number 6, formerly of Derby County. Started his career at Arsenal. He's fouled Fellows, though. There was an inelegance about that challenge from Bielik, rather clumsy foul, shoving the back free kick to West Brom, midway into opposition territory, about 10 yards in field, and they're going to make another change here, West Bromwich Albion, with Pieper, who played under Carlos Corberán at Huddersfield, now about to take to the field, only recently joined West Brom. In fact, this is just his second appearance for the club. In fact, they'll wait to make that change while they take the free kick first. Chalobah and Mowat over it. It's Mowat to deliver. Left-footed deep towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and the looping header is over the top from Kipre.
You can't keep wasting these chances, West Brom, if they want to get back into this game. You've got to now put more pressure on that Birmingham back line, put pressure on John Ruddy, make him make a save.
Off goes Furlong, and on comes Pippa. And Ruddy, who has been excellent this season for Birmingham, has been relatively untested, untroubled. A save for the very early goal. And now Birmingham going to make a double change. And here goes Janina Bakuna leaving the field. A great end to what has been a tough week for him. And Gary Gardner is his replacement, son of the technical director Craig. And Scott Hogan also coming on. Hogan, who scored a hat-trick at the Hawthorns in this fixture last season, on in place of Jay Stansfield. Well, what a week for Janina Bakuna. It started horribly, didn't it, Courtney, with that awful incident of racist abuse that he suffered here against Huddersfield, but he gets a big pat on the back from his head coach John Eustace. Everybody at Birmingham City behind it.
Yeah, definitely getting a big standing ovation from the crowd, and rightly so. He's performed extremely well today under a lot of pressure, and obviously issues that we've spoken about. It's not it's very difficult to do what he's done today, put that to the side, but he's done it extremely well.
8 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Nobody moving a muscle at St Andrews just yet. Birmingham City 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. And West Brom's winless run in this fixture set to continue. They haven't beaten Birmingham City since October of 2021, 2 years ago. They haven't won at St Andrews since 2019, as it stands. And Birmingham will leapfrog West Brom into 5th in the Championship. The heady heights of 5th for John Eustace's team. You can see why he's been linked with the Rangers job.
Yeah, I'm just watching Birmingham now as well. They've gone to a 5 across the middle, and Jukovic is the one up front. It's just going to be very, very difficult now for West Brom to break down this 4-5-1. There's going to be so many bodies in front of them.
The Birmingham side are a very stout defensively at home. Sunjic goes in for a 50-50 with Thomas Asante. The ball having spun off the feet of the West Brom man. No free kick given to Birmingham midway inside their own half, though. West Brom are on the attack here. It's nudged wide by Townsend to find Phillips. Phillips led with the edge of the penalty area, twisting, turning, dead ball line, looping, cross. Ruddy had to really use all of his 6'5" frame to gather that ball just for a second it looked like it might loop over him, but it didn't.
Yeah, and I don't think that's what he meant there. It was a cross in the box, but it just, as you say, Joe, for a minute looked like it might just pop itself under the crossbar, but Ruddy watches it all the way and collects really well.
The TalkSport app, make sure you download it. It's the best way to be across the weekend's action on the network. The return of game day tomorrow. And then on Sunday, goals as they go in on the Sunday session in the Premier League on TalkSport. And NFL here on TalkSport 2:30, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Buffalo Bills. That's live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, that commentary. Carlos Corberán is urging his side forward. And John Eustace out to the edge of his technical area here, and Birmingham holding on to their lead as Kevin Long sweeps the ball into touch. It's a West Brom throw, deep inside Birmingham territory. Birmingham have a player down now. It's not the newly arrived Gardner. I think it might be Bielik who's gone to ground. It's Bielik who's shaking his leg, and this is a player who has had terrible injury issues in the past, and he's holding his knee, is he?
Yeah, he's holding his knee and he went down completely off the ball, which I think is always a worry.
Well, you're right, he pulled up and he was trying to run back. It wasn't really a sprint for Christian Bielik, and it's been a ligament damage that has been an issue for him in the past, and he's thankfully moving okay now. Hopefully that was just a very minor and very short blip for Christian Bielik. Just over 5 minutes of normal time to go. Birmingham lead by the odd goal in 3. Long over halfway towards Jukovic, and across comes Kipre to send it back to the goalkeeper. It's been an enjoyable West Midlands derby, though not quite with the goal-mouth action that maybe as neutral as you might have wanted in the second half.
Yeah, there's been drama, there's been excitement. I did think there'd be more goals in the second half, but as yet not to be.
There may yet be, though. Jukovic has laid it back to Hogan, twisting and turning on the edge of the D. He almost forced his way through. He was definitely being held by Kipre. That's definitely a free kick, as signalled by the referee. Yellow card for the Ivorian defender, and this is in a really dangerous position, pretty much right on the edge of the D.
Does ever so well there, Hogan. Jukovic brings it down on his chest. That's what he's there for, up in that 9 position. Goes past a couple of players there, Hogan, and then gets dragged down. It's a mixture of 2 players, actually. I think, is it Asante as well? As long as Kipre, was it Chalabar?
Chalabar it was who was back, as you say, with Kipre. I think it was Kipre who was booked, because his was the worst of the 2 challenges. And there are 2 standing over it for Birmingham here. Gardner and Longolo. Might Jukovic size this up from range as well, the big number 10, I wonder. He's got his hands on his hips. It's certainly within shooting range. It's pretty much dead centre. Couple of yards back from the edge of the D, and this is perfect maybe for Gary Gardner standing over it now. He's the only player standing over it, curling it right-footed into the top corner. A Derby Day goal to savour from Gary Gardner, and St Andrews shakes to the sound of Birmingham City celebrations. It's his first goal in well over a year, and my oh my, how it was worth the wait. It's Derby Day victory for Birmingham City. They lead West Brom by 3 goals to 1.
Just watching John Eustace, it's a very, very interesting reaction. He's going mad. He's smashing the badge on his chest. Is that an indication about the noise around him? I'm not too sure, but it's an inspired substitution nonetheless, because this is a wonderful free kick. Dead centre. And then curled into the top left-hand corner. I think Palmer does get a little bit on it, but it's in that much of a good position where there's nothing he can do about it. Going back to it, Scott Hogan does so well to win the free kick, and it's dispatched so well by Gardner.
Gary Gardner, the West Midlander, has scored the goal to surely seal victory for Birmingham City. Even with 2.5 minutes of normal time plus stoppage time to go, 3-1 to Birmingham, and that is surely an unassailable lead. And the Birmingham Renaissance continues this season. Fellows for West Brom deep down by the dead ball line. Assistant is flagging for a free kick here, and he will get the free kick. Hogan and Longolo were back. West Brom free kick, and this is pretty much got to go in the back of the net. And it's cross, and then they get something on it, because otherwise there's nowhere they're going to come back. And there's a melee inside the 6-yard box at the moment. Kipre is involved, Sanderson is there as well, Jukovic and Gardner, the goal scorer, having words, and James Linnington's just going to have to come across and sort this out. West Brom frustration starting to boil over, 3-1 down.
Yeah, emotions are running high, and you can't argue again that that's against the run of play in terms of the possession that West Brom have had. But what I will say about Birmingham tonight is they've been clinical. They've taken their chances. They've not created too much, but when they have, they've made sure they've made it count.
Great noise from the home fans in St Andrews. Not a spare seat to be had. Birmingham 3, West Brom 1 on the Friday Night Football on TalkSport 2. What a night to be a Blue. A free kick to West Brom, right on the dead ball line, right on the edge of the penalty area. Dinked in by Mowat, high to the far post, headed down by Phillips, hooked away by Sunjic. Away from danger and further clear, and Hogan is breaking on the counter now, and Ollie Burke's got space to charge forward down the right. St Andrews is on its feet, Sunjic in the middle, Burke edge of the penalty area, crosses, and the goalkeeper manages to juggle that away. How did he do that, Palmer? It came off his own defender, I think it was Kipre, and Palmer looked for a second like he was going to spoon it over the line, but clawed it away somehow.
That was brilliant, wasn't it? He had a couple of goes at it, and I thought it was, as you say, he was going to drop it in the back of his own net. It wouldn't have been his fault. The deflection came out of nowhere, but how well did he do to keep that out?
I don't know how he wrestled control of that ball, Palmer, but he turned it away at the Tilton Road end. Keep right on has been ringing around St Andrews again. Birmingham 3, West Brom 1. The ball flicked into the West Brom penalty area towards the hopeful run of Diangana. It's cleared away though by Drama. Diangana was sandwiched in between two royal blue shirts. 6 added minutes at the end of the game. We'll do it all again on game day tomorrow. 450 live commentaries on the TalkSport network this season. Download the app to be across it all. And the referee here has signalled for a goal kick to Birmingham, away to our right, and some in the away end have seen enough. And we're just watching a replay of that unorthodox Palmer save. Unorthodox to say the very least. That's actually an amazing save, because he had no time to react. It came off Pippa, and it was just pure instinct from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, unbelievable instinct and reflexes, but that's what the keepers work on day in, day out, those reflex saves. And it's definitely paid off for Palmer there.
We've got a monitor in front of our commentary position so we can watch it again in glorious slow motion. It's actually one of the saves of the season, really. Pippa has the ball for West Brom. Wriggles away, a couple of neat step overs beyond Sunjic, and now he plays it wide to the left, and Phillips. A minute of the 6 added have been played. West Brom are 3-1 down. They've got to find 2 goals in stoppage time here. Townsend, left edge of the penalty area. Phillips running onto it. Effort is blocked, headed down and wide by the onrushing Chalobah. Well, it's another big chance for West Brom. They've had 2 big chances in this second half. Furlong with the first, and there Phillips saw his effort blocked before Chalobah headed the rebound wide.
Yeah, and he's arriving well, Phillips, and you see what he's trying to do. Bend it round the defender, but he just can't quite get the purchase on it that he needs to get round the defender and on target.
Well, they are proud of their club in the second city, and Gary Gardner, one of the local boys born in the West Midlands, has scored the free kick to surely seal him. They could be in for more here. Flick from Jukovic towards Burke, well marshalled by Townsend, who shrugged him aside but can only succeed in knocking the ball out of play into that lower tier of the Kop, which is empty and still being reconstructed. But they are hopeful, Birmingham City, that all of the reconstruction will be done maybe during November, and it'll be great to see the stadium back to full capacity and rocking again. But no question that under new ownership, it's a club on the up, Courtney Sweetman-Kerr.
Well, yeah, and it's been a great atmosphere tonight, so you imagine when all the seats are in and filled, it is going to be unbelievable.
Here come West Brom, maybe getting towards the last throw of the dice here for them. 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the 6 added. 3-1 down. Chalobah's burst forward has at least won them a free kick. I do think Carlos Corberán will look at the misfortune of conceding the first half penalty and the chances his side have had, and said, well, we could easily have got something out of this game.
Yeah, I think between the misfortune, I think as well he'll be disappointed, especially with the areas in the game where they were dominant but actually didn't create too much, and then the moments where they've created and not been clinical enough. So there's a few moments to work on.
They've got a free kick here, right hand edge of the penalty area, and there's a yellow card for Longolo. 3 of the 6 added minutes have been played, well over the 3 now. Birmingham fans on their feet all around the stadium here. They lead 3-1. Chalobah and Mowat over this free kick. Birmingham have brought everybody back. They look very stout defensively at home. Birmingham City, very hard to break down in front of their own fans. Chalobah's just knocked that straight into the wall. Once handball, referee not interested, neither's the assistants, and neither are any of Chalobah's teammates. I think he was just disappointed at his own free kick. It is a West Brom corner.
Maybe one of those, just asking the question more in hope than anything. I do think it comes off the elbow, but the arm isn't outstretched unnaturally.
Corner taken short by Mowat, then Chalobah whips the ball into the penalty area. It's headed clear. And Birmingham have dealt with everything that West Brom have thrown at them in the second half. They'll have another free kick to defend now. And again, it's Chalobah who seems to be everywhere, who's been fouled in the left wing position this time. But time is almost up here for West Brom. 1 minute and 45 seconds to go. 3-1 to Birmingham City. John Eustace's name being chanted around the ground. He has been linked with the vacant role at Rangers. A free kick whipped in then by Chalobah. Oh, it's only half cleared. There were 3 Birmingham players who went for it. The ball ended up bouncing into the ground, but it was collected by Ruddy. You can hear from the cheers of the home fans that Ruddy's pounced on that. And there's only a minute to go, and that's probably that.
Yeah, and I think on balance, really, you can't argue that Birmingham deserve what they've got in terms of the 3 points. As I say, yes, not created quite as much as West Brom or been dominant in possession, but what they have been is very, very clinical in the final third.
Here is Longolo raiding down the near side, the Birmingham left, with less than a minute to go. His team are 3-1 up. He goes for the corner flag. That was a shove by Mowat. Well, the referee's called it as a dive, and West Brom will get the free kick instead. Longolo on a yellow, got to be careful. West Brom will come away with possession, and Longolo's still on the floor.
He's up now, he's sprinting back.
So that definitely wasn't a Birmingham free kick, Courtney, is what you're saying. I can tell by the look on your face.
Take that as you will, Joe.
Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, former Liverpool and Sheffield United striker. Here's Pippa for West Brom. Back to Chalobah, edge of the box, dinks that one in, takes a deflection, doesn't beat the first man. Come back to Pippa on the near side. 10 seconds to go. The game is surely up. Fellows to whip in a high cross. Here comes John Ruddy. Takes it out of the air. Just a flash of bright yellow on the goalkeeper's shirt. He was always going to claim that cross. And Birmingham City are able to celebrate a West Midlands derby victory. 4 league wins in a row over their near neighbours, West Bromwich Albion. The first time that has happened for 92 years. But more importantly, in the present, the Birmingham City renaissance continues. Off and on the pitch, they move above West Brom and into the playoff places. And in doing so with this 3-1 victory, they knock West Brom out of the top 6. West Brom dropped below Leeds United on goal difference. It's a bad start to the weekend for Carlos Corberán's team, but it's a delightful start to the weekend for John Eustace and Blues. There are changes happening in the second city, and maybe, just maybe, Birmingham might be outside contenders for a Premier League return this season. All of it happened tonight, despite West Brom taking the lead early on through John Swift. A controversial penalty pulled Birmingham back into the game. Juninho Bacuna drawing them level from the spot. Dion Sanderson headed them in front before half-time. And despite a big chance missed by West Brom's Darnell Furlong in the second period, it was Gary Gardner, a West Midlander, off the bench to seal it late on with a wonderful free kick. And now the Friday night celebrations can begin. It is finished live on your home of the EFL, TalkSport 2. What a start to this weekend for Birmingham City. They've beaten West Brom by 3-1.